I should get a Starbucks cup put in the background.
What?
You know what? Do you get that reference? No, do you get that reference?
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Yes!
Uh-huh.
Okay, see? Someone gets my reference.
What happened?
The last season of Game of Thrones, they edited and did so many things so badly. In one of the scenes, you can see a Starbucks cup sitting in the background of the scene.
Do you know what episode it is? Because I would love to go look.
I'm sure if
through
you
one of the
Google
last
it, you can find it.
Google
It's
it.
one of the
Google
last
it.
episodes. Google
That
it, you
is
can find it.
insane.
Yeah.
Was that because? Okay, we're talking about too much.
All right.
other
Anyways.
stuff.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dirt Kings Podcast. My name is Sarah, I'm your host. I know that I was MIA last week. I had a little bit of stuff going on with some kids and some doctor's appointments, so that was fun, but you got to enjoy a really fun episode with Jonathan and Nathaniel. I know that they had promised this week that we would be coming back with a biological episode that you guys are really interested in. I know that you really want to see. Unfortunately, we had a couple of things pop up and we do need to push that into next week. So it is worth staying on the hook for, and we promise that we will deliver come next week, and you guys will get to hear all about that with our other co-host, Nathaniel. He's really insightful and has a lot of really good information on that topic, so it will definitely be worth it. However, today I am here with Caleb. He is one of our soil advisors here at AgriTec, and we are here to talk about nitrogen applications, second cuttings, and kind of what we're seeing right now outside in the U.S., in regards to growth and weather and things like that. I know some of the country is really dry, and some of it we just got out of a really wet season and we're finally able to get close to getting some first cuttings off. Thanks for coming on today, Caleb. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. A little nervous.
Yeah.
That always gets by.
How's your
Not
week
used to
been?
it. It's been good. I got a lot of guys that are, when we're talking about moisture in the soil or moisture they're getting from rainfall, obviously, got places where they've not seen moisture for 2 to 3 weeks now, and then we got places like Southeast Texas that's getting tropical storms.
Right.
Um,
Where it never stops raining.
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
the Amazon.
So, and last year, one of the biggest things we struggled with was we couldn't get the rainfall.
Right.
And
High
so,
drought season.
yeah, and so this year, this spring was tsunami. I
Right.
mean, just across the board, everyone was getting excessive rainfall, which one thing we've all kind of harped on with our weekly meetings and things is uh, excessive rainfall causing nutrients to leach.
Yes.
And so when we're talking about that and going into second cuttings, I personally believe if you can get a soil test right before you actually make the cutting and get time to get that soil tested to see the results, that's a good chance you can see what nutrients did leach from your first application of fertilizers, and then you can make up for the lost nutrients in your second application if you do so for your second cutting. But as far as nitrogen, it's really, really important to get nitrogen down on the second cutting. It's going to increase your protein. We all need as much protein as possible as we can get in our hay. That's what we're,
Really fills the livestock up, really
exactly,
creates a nutritious
and a
plant.
lot of us were baling our hay. A lot of people are selling it. And if you're selling it, you're probably selling it to, horse and cattle people that, especially horse guys, they want to see the highest crude protein and total digestible nutrients as possible. They really, really try to take care of their horses as best. And so, getting a good nitrogen application in for that second cutting, it's going to help the crude protein levels. It's going to help the total digestible nutrients, which is really, really good to have high total digestible nutrients for the ruminant health of cattle as well. So that's something important to pay attention to. But
And tell me a little bit if I have a hay field or I've got a pasture and I don't know what is actually contained in those leaves and in what is coming off my plant. How do I tell what that is?
yeah, so we can do tissue samples. A really good way for tissue sampling hay is after you bale the hay, you can pull a core from the baled hay. A lot of the ways I've been taught by, laboratories, as they say, get to the closest of the core of the bale of hay as possible, just to get a good tissue sample, send it off to the lab, they'll give you your results back of the crude protein, the total digestible nutrients, and what nutrients are getting into the tissue as well. So that's one way uh, to really make sure, okay, I'm doing the right thing. But also for your hay guys, that's a selling point.
Right. It
You
really helps to be able to show a physical
Yeah,
copy.
and so I have plenty of clients that I've said, "Hey, let's do before and after soil samples because I really want to show you the change in nutrients that we're doing." Also, I really encourage the tissue sampling because that's like a receipt.
Right.
If you come to me and you say, "Hey, I need 6 bales, 6 5x4 bales from you for my horses, but I want to see what you got in it," I can show you that tissue sample and say, this is why I'm going to charge you what I'm going to charge you for this hay. And then it can make a whole lot more sense instead of people sitting there haggling each
Wondering and
other.
guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And here at AgriTec, we are really big on research. I right now have in my lap, I have our research booklet because we're going to talk about a little bit of the research that we've done on one of our main products, our NitroMax. So we will get to that as well. But we are really big into proving quality, proving what we say is going to work, and also for you, helping you prove, like he was saying, to people that you are then selling that hay to,
Yeah,
that hay is worth that cost, that premium cost that you're trying to get for what you're selling.
absolutely. I love the Tuskegee University hay trials that we did with the Nitromax.
Well, I'm going to back you up just a little bit.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about, I know that you just talked about and were telling us about how important nitrogen was for that second cutting. You've got multiple nitrogens out there. You've got a granular urea. You've got 32%. You've got a 28%. Tell me a little bit about the Nitromax product that we carry and what kind of sets it apart from the other nitrogens that you see on the market.
You do have your 32, your 28, your dry urea, like you said. The Nitromax that we have, it's a 20% slow, medium, and fast release.
So you're kind of
So
getting a triple whammy right
yeah,
there, all in one
exactly.
fell
It's a
swoop.
it's a very even balance because the risk of burn is decreased dramatically.
What
I
decreases the risk of burn in that Nitromax that we carry?
The 4% calcium.
Okay, so there
That's
is a 4%
Yes,
calcium in it.
yes,
Oh, awesome.
absolutely.
Okay.
So Nitromax is a 20,004% calcium plus a biological mixed into it. One thing I've learned is the calcium molecules bind with the nitrogen molecules, and the reason it's decreasing the burn is because essentially calcium, being a heavy nutrient in the soil, is pulling that nitrogen down to the root system a lot quicker. So it dramatically decreases the risk of burn. We typically recommend for 6 to 8 gallons per acre. 8 gallons is usually a pretty good application that we across the board recommend for hay to get a little over about 3,000 pounds of biomass per acre is what some of my guys came back with.
And obviously, that's going to depend a little bit on rain and weather and
Absolutely.
soil. One thing that we did, notice when we were doing our Tuskegee results is we had applied we applied multiple, application rates. The 6 gallon an acre rate that he is kind of referencing. We did that down in Alabama with a university that we had partnered with for some studies. That 6 gallon to the acre rate, without any other nutrients, anything else on the field. We were comparing it with a 19. We did forage testing on it before we had done it and then afterwards. We had a 13% crude protein content in those forage samples in our control group. And then in the group that we had applied the 6%, or sorry, the 6 gallons, 6%. The 6 gallons of Nitromax too, we had gotten a 15% crude protein, which is a phenomenal increase on the crude protein side. The other thing that we had done was that we had, with that same 6 gallons in that control group, we got about 1,400 pounds per acre of biomass, whereas with the 6 gallons an acre of the Nitromax, we got 28,000
pounds.
28,000.
2,800.
2,800.
2,800.
2,800 pounds per acre of biomass with that. So that is a significant increase from just your control group, which we were extremely happy with, especially since with that particular study that was done last year, it was a high drought season for pretty much the entire United States. we received rain for that study. We received it before anything was applied, and then we didn't receive a single drop
After.
until
Yep.
afterwards. And so after all of these tests were done, all of the data was pulled, which is huge, especially, on our side, on the farmer side, to be able to look at something during a high drought year and say, okay, I'm actually going to get some kind of results about this. And that's kind of going to tie a little bit into next week's episode, because as he was mentioning, we do include a biological in that Nitromax. And so we'll deep dive with Nathaniel a little bit next week on that biological. It does play a huge role, not only with the calcium in stabilizing that nitrogen and preventing the risk of burn, but it also is playing a huge role in increasing your drought tolerance.
One thing I did want to add with the Nitromax is, yes, we do have the 4% calcium in there, and we've explained why the calcium's there for reducing the risk of burn.
Stabilization purposes.
Exactly. And then we got the slow release, which is a slow, medium,
And fast.
The other thing is, I won't dive into the biological, but I will dive into some of the package that does come with the biological. I do want Nathaniel to be able to be the guy that explains you guys biologicals, because 10 times smarter. But
all of us.
there's 52 trace minerals in that package. One thing I like to tell a lot of my guys, I picture those 52 trace minerals as a liquid mineral block. That's literally how I describe it. Imagine you spray this product on your grass, getting the trace minerals into the root system, into the grass. That's what's raising crude protein. Well, not 100% the main factor for the crude protein, but it's helping out with the total digestible nutrients. So we got those minerals in there. That helps massively. There is amino acids, humic acid. Humic is added into a good majority of almost everything we do. The reason we do that is, yes, we're going to increase a little bit of organic matter. Humic is really, really good at holding about 10 times its weight in water in the soil, and it binds nutrients to the soil. So if you have sandier soils than your other clay-based guys, you're going to leach nutrients very quickly in sandy soils. Well, having a humic source in a variety of our products really helps bind the nutrients to the soil and reduce the leaching factor.
Right.
So we do that, as well as there's a germinator, a seed starter, and a root growth promoter in there. It's always very important to develop the best roots you possibly can. That's really the better and stronger the roots are underground, the bigger crop you're going to have above ground. What are some other things that I've missed in there? Oh, there's micronutrients as well. That's one thing I always forget. Did I already say micronutrients?
That's the 52 trace
Yep,
minerals. The
you're
52
right.
trace minerals is the micronutrients.
52 trace minerals in the micronutrients.
Thank you so much, Caleb, for that information on, your second cuttings, nitrogen, and why it's really important to apply it. We just want to stress that it is very important, obviously, for your pocketbook and for your cattle, especially if you have them, or horses, to be able to have enough hay. Ties back to that pocketbook. Have enough hay for the entire season. So definitely get some nutrients out there this year on that second cutting. That is really going to help push that along, whether you're getting droughts or whether you've had nutrient leaching from the rain. That nitrogen is going to be really important this year to get that good second cutting off of it. If you are in an area where you get a third cutting and you're lucky like that, definitely recommend doing that as well.
I know some areas that even can get a fourth cutting. Just
really?
depends.
Where?
Huh?
Who gets fourth cuttings? The South?
Just depends.
Yeah.
Just totally depends.
Where it's hot and dry.
Yeah, and well, obviously it's going to 100% depend on the year.
Yeah.
But, if you can get out really early and kind of kick that grass out of dormancy, or maybe it's maybe what I'm thinking of are guys that are pulling rye off their field, from the winter.
Tell me something from this week, or just in general. What is your favorite part about, kind of what we do and talking to farmers? What's your favorite part about this particular job?
My absolute favorite part, and I told my buddy this the other day, it's soil testing. It's before and after.
Soil testing is?
Well, not like actually physically going out and doing the soil testing.
Right.
I love nothing more than getting before soil samples, and especially the ones that look really bad. Probably the most rewarding thing about this job, well, I'll explain it after I explain the soil testing and my reasoning. But I love taking before soil samples. I love when people have a problem and they truly actually need someone's help. And you call a normal fertilizer store and you say, "Hey, I'm having problems with my hay, and I need to get fertilizer." And they say, "Okay, 150 pounds, 200 pounds, triple 17. you'll be fine.
Or triple
Or
19.
triple 19.
Right.
And I don't like that. I like when people come to me and say, "Hey, I have a problem," and I can sit down and actually find the
Problem solve.
solution. And so then I can find the solution via some of our technology with writing programs and whatnot for all of our products and getting anyone a custom application. I don't have any client that does the exact same thing.
Right.
Every single client is different because usually we're typically looking off soil tests, and that's what we harp on a lot. We want to do the soil test. And so, purpose where I'm going with all this is whenever I get a client that has bad soil tests, I get them what they need, and they might be a little skeptical because it's their first year hearing about AgriTec, or it's their first year using liquids and gumming from dry. I love it when they call me back 3 weeks to a month, 2 months later, and just they're so excited. It's like they're little kids all over again, 50, 60-year-old, 40, 80. I mean, we deal with all ages of farmers. And so it's just really nice hearing them call. And I get told, I've never seen my winter wheat looking this ever in my life. And I've been farming for years. Yes, Dylan.
Can you try to impersonate them as you say what they're saying?
Caleb can barely say the word pasture.
Yeah, exactly. Pasture to me is the guy that stands up in the church and it's where the cows go.
Yeah.
No, I can't intimidate any of my guys because then it'd be really hard. I don't have those acting skills.
You don't have those accents in your back pocket. Linda down in South Carolina called me next week and told me.
Yeah, truthfully,
Can you talk? Okay, you spent a lot of time in Louisiana. Can you do a Louisianan accent?
It's some couillon Cajuns.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna sit there and do that. But yeah, it's once you get the after soil tests and or pictures and them calling you and giving testimonies, it's so awesome. My Pennsylvania guy yesterday that I told you about, he applied our advanced cal on his corn. It took me a year for him to finally trust me in buying a tote of advanced cal, and he did 60 acres of corn out of hundreds of acres of corn that he does have. Well, at 60 acres of corn, after 21 days post-application, he calls me yesterday and he says, "Man, my corn that I treated with the advanced cal is over my hip, and the rest of my corn on the rest of the property is under my knee." And he also described it as being a lot darker green.
Yeah.
And obviously we love that. If your corn's looking a little limey color in early stages, you probably need to jump out there and figure out what's going wrong.
Missing,
exactly.
Right.
So that's the point of it. Is it's extremely rewarding when you're giving people a product that is actually going to work. It's actually going to benefit them. It's going to improve the soil, build up the soil. Because over time, what I have noticed with a lot of my farmers is costs back. The more we build up the soil, the following year they say, "All right, I want to do the same thing I did last year." Well, hold on, Larry. Let's look at these soil tests. You got enough nutrients that we can make this last with maybe a starter fertilizer, and then go with that, and then maintain it and pay attention throughout the year. But I don't want to go too much into biologicals, but increasing organic matter to feed your biologicals to let them do their job a little bit quicker, which you guys will find out about next week a heck of a lot. I do feel like, me personally, I was put on this world to help people, and that's what I used to do. Now I cannot do that because I was hurt with my previous job, and you all know about that. But with the job
about that, they just mean you. Tell me about that.
I did about 5 years in the U.S. Army and got hurt too many dang times, and I'm unfortunately, but fortunately, 100% disabled veteran. So in that line of work, I mean, I joined the military to help people and be there. And when I got out of the military and was medically retired, I was like, man, what am I going to do with my life? And then, of course, I grew up going to church with you and your family. And so when your father said, "Come on, you'd be great for this," I really was nervous about coming into this lifestyle because I always thought about salesmen as dirty.
Yes, very pushy.
Let me get your money. I want your money. I don't care about you. I want your money. That's not what I want to be. And hopefully no one edits this video and makes it seem like I just said I want your money. But what I truly do absolutely love is being this problem solver
And helping
and
people.
helping people. And so this job has absolutely allowed me to do that because I know when I sell this product, I'm going to get a call back.
Right.
I'm going to get a call back. It's going to be good news. A very typical thing I have with people I work with that haven't bought from me is when they do end up buying from me, whether it's months or years, usually they call me and they're like, why aren't you a little more pushy? I should have been using this a year ago. And,
Right.
it's, well, I don't want to push you over the brink. I want to
I'm
do
here
what's
to help.
best for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and absolutely. And sometimes a part of helping with our job is pointing our guys in other directions.
Yeah, it
like,
is.
okay,
I've done that many times.
yeah,
I don't have something that's going to fit what you need, but I
Yeah,
will help you find and fit
and
it.
and more times often than not, if I'm saying that correctly, I don't know. I love seeing like chicken litter and
Yes.
turkey manure
Yep, I agree.
paired up with the
So
advanced
many
cow.
nutrients.
Yes, I love that. If you're doing that on like corn, you probably need to supplement a little more nitrogen
Yeah.
with that because you're not getting as much as you need. But that's just ties back to, not all the times do I say that our stuff is the absolute solution.
Right.
Uh,
It depends on what they
we're
need. It depends on their
exactly,
soil
and
test and
and that's what we've been taught in here at AgriTech is don't make it seem like we are absolutely the solution to absolutely everything.
we're the
Find the
solution to a
solution.
lot of things,
Yeah,
but if you have a problem that we can't help with, we will help you find a
exactly,
solution.
exactly. So that's it's very rewarding.
All right. No, that was great. And then last but not least, what is your favorite food? Ooh, too many foods just popped in your head, didn't they?
Yeah, but you always got to go with a good street taco.
Street taco?
Yeah,
Nah, man, a ribeye. You would
that's
take.
hard.
Is that
That's
a hard
hard
one?
because
Yeah.
some days you just really
Need a
want
good
that
street taco.
street taco. Maybe if it has some good ribeye cooked
Oh,
and
some
cut up
ribeye
in
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
I did see, I was scrolling through TikTok the other day and I saw this recipe. It was for, I'm going to slaughter this when I say it, but see, get it? Pun? Slaughter it. Elotes corn street tacos with steak. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It looked so good. I want to
No,
make it so bad.
I think what'd you say the other week? Men always have one of three hobbies. Was it cars, guns, and smoke barbecuing?
I was talking about how when men get older, they usually get one of three hobbies. They're either grillers, they're lawn guys, or they're into like cars and guns.
Okay. So grillers, lawn, cars, guns.
Yes.
Well, the problem I'm facing now is I finally got a griller/smoker.
Did you?
Yeah, that was a Father's Day present.
Nice.
And so now I've been smoking meats.
Right.
I put way too much Nitromax on my lawn on a weekly basis.
What did you do?
Oh, I've literally been watering my lawn pretty much.
So you're into all of them is what you're telling me.
I've been watering my lawn with Nitromax, and my theory and the purpose I've been doing is the only thing I've been hitting my lawn with is just Nitromax.
Right.
And my lawn was heavily weeded, and it looks very, very good right now. There's still a little bit of weeds, but I just want to see if I just use Nitromax where I'm going to get. And then, obviously, I'm a very big gun guy. I love guns, build them.
So you've hit the trifecta. Like you're over the hill at this point. You've picked all three hobbies.
And I think I could consider myself a materialistic person when it comes to vehicles as well.
Yeah.
I'm definitely one of those people that cares what I'm driving.
Right.
And so I got all four of those that you named, and you were talking about them because they are wallet drainers.
They are.
And so now I have all four.
Let's be honest with our people watching today. I was talking about them because my husband has most of those, but he's not a griller, and I'm a bit of a foodie. And so my
you just
biggest
want him.
complaint was like the one like thing that you could do that I would love so much would for you to be into like grilling and smoking, and he has no desire, which is okay. But like I would love it so much because it's so delicious.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Caleb's hit the trifecta.
One thing I will say is I'm not out there farming every single day. I do have a lot of buddies that are farmers.
Right.
We can sit here and talk about this all day long. But all my buddies that are farmers, they're sitting in the tractor pretty much before the sun comes up,
Until
and
after
they're
it goes
still
down.
they're still complaining when it's going down, and they're still in the same tractor. So, maybe they don't have time for all those crazy hobbies, but I know each of them at least has one of those.
They
There's
probably still all like to eat and have a favorite food. They
absolutely,
definitely all have a
absolutely,
favorite food.
absolutely, especially
I'm
the cattle
curious
guys.
though. So you guys tell us in the comments if you had to pick one or the other, not your ultimate favorite food because that's not going to be everybody's favorite food, but would you pick steak because of ribeye? I'm a ribeye girl. Or are you going to pick street tacos? Because I am curious who's going to win that one.
That's
I feel like it'll be me.
it is going to be you.
Oh, you
And
think so?
well, across the board in America, farmers, they're usually some of the truest Americans I've ever met, What's more American? Getting that
A
ribeye?
steak, man. A
Exactly.
steak all
So,
day, every day.
but any of our southern farmers that get a little bit of, good homemade Hispanic foods like
That's
in
true. They
street
also
tacos.
barbecue. Barbecue in the South, huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
So,
I'm originally from Colorado, so barbecue, like they like their barbecue, but is it like down here? No, not even
no.
close to a little bit. Down here, they love their barbecue.
Yeah, so you'll win that absolutely, but I know I'll have some people in there that are going to back me up with the tacos.
Yeah, well, we're curious. Tell us in the comments what you would prefer. Are you going for street tacos or are you going for ribeyes? So since your favorite food is street tacos, where is your favorite place to get street tacos? Like homemade, a certain place, or just a really good one that you've been to before?
I can't remember the food truck. It's a food truck that is always in Leesville, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name. Good guy that owns the food truck. I bet a lot of people that know the Leesville area knows exactly what I'm talking about. But man, this guy.
The best
Oh
tacos.
yeah, and he would post on his Facebook page, "Hey, I'm open on Saturday," and it's like you have to go
You
'cause
plan your Saturday around the taco truck guy.
exactly. It's one of those things where you're standing out in the parking lot waiting 45 minutes in line to get your taco, but you know for sure that's going
Right.
to be worth it.
Yeah. Mine on a steak side. Honestly, I would say that I'm not like super picky, but I am definitely a medium rare girl. Too rare.
Good,
Headed
good.
towards still mooing on the plate kind of thing.
America.
So anywhere that can cook it good, to be honest with you. Anywhere
Yeah,
that can cook it good. My
absolutely.
husband actually, even though he doesn't like grilling, he does make a pretty good steak.
Any of our farmers out there that have made contact over the phone or shaken Sean's hand, Sean's a guy that tell him to come out to your farm, but while he comes out to your farm, you better have a steak there and
Yeah.
let him whip it up for you. Let him
He is
smoke
a
you some
good
something.
cook. He
Exactly.
is a really good
Yeah,
cook. Sean
Sean
is a
Sean's the
phenomenal
pit
cook.
boss. Sean's the pit boss for
We
sure.
should get him a grilling apron that says Pit Boss.
Yeah,
Pit Boss of Grills.
yeah.
But Caleb, it was so great having you on here today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. We will see you all next week to talk about biologicals. We will have Nathaniel on the podcast and we'll probably have another guest as well. So join in to see who that is. Do not forget also to like, comment, and subscribe if you don't mind. Also, he mentioned, sitting in your tractor all day. You're probably listening to this while you're sitting, bumping along. Tell your friends about us. They're in the tractor too. They might be bored. They might like to hear what we have to say. You never know. So we appreciate it, and we will see you all next week.
Thanks for having me. Later, y'all.